Hi, hello and welcome. Welcome back. It's been a while again, as always. You can see different surroundings around me. I'm at my girlfriend's house right now because her parents are out of town and we're taking care of the cat as every summer almost. Today, we're gonna look for a second at Magic the Gathering Arena, which is a trading card game, of course, the oldest trading card game in the books probably. It's the inspiration for a lot of other trading card games like Hearthstone and stuff like that. I saw a random YouTube video yesterday about 4 players playing a game of Magic together with Post Malone. He was one of the players, that's why I watched it, and it struck me how interesting the mechanics in this game actually were. I've played this a bit in the past, but it's been a while. And so yesterday I kinda got started again and got back into it a bit. And I've been doing these color challenges, which are like these great introductions to each kind of deck type, you know? It's just a great way to get to know Magic again and to get back into the game. And I thought, why not record myself doing it? Today we are here with the red color challenge. Chandra Nalar. There is no virtue in subtlety, at least not as far as Chandra is concerned. She's a confident, ardent, and defiant planeswalker whose specialty is pyromancy. Spells of fire, fire, and more fire. Interesting. Here you can see her. She's kind of like the... how do you say it? She's the player, I guess. The player you have to imagine with your deck. The deck is called Goblins Everywhere. Let's have a quick look at the main mechanics, but it's gonna be very barren for now because it's an introductory deck and goblins don't have the most crazy mechanics ever probably. We have some goblins with haste, which are just 1/1. Haste means that they can attack immediately when they are played. Shock, an instant spell, deals 2 damage to any target. Storm Strike, another instant spell. A small buff against First Strike. So what First Strike means is that, imagine this, alright? You attack your enemy, the enemy can choose a creature to block your attack, but the creature with First Strike will attack the blocking creature first. So if you have something with First Strike with a lot of attack, it can kind of kill a blocker without getting damaged itself. It will get clearer once we encounter it once. And then Scrying is this thing where you can look at the top card of your library and you can decide whether you put it on the bottom of your library or at the top. So if it's a card that's like useless for you in this situation, you just throw it away to the bottom and you'll never see it again. If the card is something you want to draw, you put it on top and then you know what you're gonna draw next turn. So yeah, as I said, just not too many crazy mechanics. And this right here is the mountain, which is your land. You have that in every deck, but in this deck it's of course red, and that's why the deck is a red deck. The color of your mana or of your land in Magic decides upon which kind of deck you actually have. We are playing against the blue guy, Jace. His deck is most of the time about creating flying creatures and using powerful spells to disrupt the playing field. Starting off with playing some mana, of course, and then we can already create a small goblin token. As I said, this deck is not gonna have too many advanced features. The main part is gonna be just swarming the board with little creatures and just slowly chipping away at his face. He has played a 0/5, which is clearly just for blocking, because it literally can't attack, but... Oh, so this is an enchantment, so this just stays on the board, I guess. And I think it might be usable right now. Alright, and it this gets displayed down here. Look at the art, by the way. The art for every card in this game is just beautiful. So this is an enchantment, it just stays on the board. Whenever a creature I control with power 2 or less attacks, power is the attack value, so the first number. Raid Bombardment, that's the name of this card, deals 1 damage to the player or planeswalker that creature is attacking. The planeswalker is indeed the player or the guy controlling the deck. So if I'm not mistaken, if we attack with both of these now, this will just do 2 damage for free. And that really ties into the idea of this deck, of course. He blocked my minion, that's why I get a 1/1 token. Looks like he has kind of one of those mines they use in the sea, and he just cut that in half and used it as 2 shoulder pads. That's a pretty cool look. But this really ties into the rest of my deck, because I am all about generating all kinds of small creatures, of course, that attack the face. So I will just do Goblin Gathering, which will get me 2 tokens, and next time it will get me 3 tokens, and then I can get another Tin Street Cadet on there. I'm just gonna attack with all because none of his blockers have any damage, so sure they can block me, but I will just generate more 1/1s. Just like that, that's 2 more 1/1s for me. And now you can see the power, right? I have 2, 3, plus 4, 7, 8 minions. So if I just attack all next turn, even if some of them get blocked, I will do 8 damage to the face either way. He can attack with a 0/5, that's interesting. I don't know why that's possible, but doesn't matter. Well, we have nothing else to do, so I guess why not just play another Goblin Gathering, which will get us 2 plus the number of cards named this in my graveyard, so that's gonna be 3. It also displays it on the side. I'm just gonna attack with all, because it's gonna be 8 damage to the face, and I don't mind losing some of these minions either way. I should not call them minions. I think they are called creatures most of the time in Magic. One of the weird things about Magic, or well, it's weird if you play other games normally, other card games, is that even the minions, the things I call minions, the creatures, they are called spells as well. So they can be quite confusing when reading some of the card texts. So there we go, first color challenge complete. I should mention, of course, that this is against AI, so most of these fights are also scripted, so you are kind of expected to win, but it's just to get back into the game and get to know the deck. At the end of each of these combats, you will get to upgrade your deck with 2 or more cards. Let's see, we get a Siege Dragon. So this destroys all walls when it enters the battlefield. That might be a certain card type that is heavily inclined on blocking, so you will kind of remove the line of defenses your opponent has built up. That's pretty cool. It has a pretty hefty mana cost though of 7 land. You can see at the top, I can't go there with my mouse, but you can see at the top that there is 5 and then 2 fire land. So that means that you can use 5 mana of any cost, of any type I should say, and then you have to combine that with 2 fire lands. So this could also just be 7 fire lands, which is gonna be the case for us because we have a mono red deck. Whenever it attacks, if the player controls no walls, it deals 2 damage to each creature without flying the player controls. Wow, that's pretty strong. Goblin Tunneler, we already saw this in our deck listings. That's what I like most about Magic compared to like things like Hearthstone, for example. You just have these amazingly intricate mechanics that can change the game completely and it can really put you ahead. Whereas in Hearthstone, you most of the time just, for example, play like, oh, here's a really big minion, what are you gonna do about it? Here in Magic, it's really like, so I did this and this combines with this card, and then if I add this instant to it, then we can all, and it's so much cooler. Story looks pretty much the same from the start right here, just gonna swarm my board a bit. We do have 2 raid bombardments in our hand right now, which is awesome. We are playing against Liliana Ves, and she is playing a black deck. Look at the beautiful artwork. Now, black decks, they are about zombies, rats, critters, things like that. Most of them are focused on sacrificing your own minions or your own health for, well, for positive things for you. Definitely putting out that raid bombardment as soon as possible. Oh, okay, so now I could, for example, use this ability, and this would tap him. You can see that the little symbol is an arrow. That means that you don't have to pay any mana, but that you tap the card you are looking at. And I could put it on this, and then I could just really attack the face with this, and it couldn't get blocked. This is just a 2/2 zombie. If the card has no effects, they just put the flavor text, which is kind of like a small description, a bit of the art description of what the card does or is supposed to represent. But as soon as you see all these like italic words, you can know that the explanation there is not really important. Again though, really nice artwork, looking scary. Do I want to do that? Yeah, why not, I guess. So I just tap. It could do it on itself, but then you would need something to untap it. As soon as a creature is tapped, it cannot do anything anymore until it is untapped. And it automatically untaps, which is like to turn back upright, you know. It automatically does that at the start of your turn. When you attack with a creature, you can then not use it to block, for example, that same turn when your opponent is attacking, because it is tapped, so it's kind of out of the battlefield. Now, here we go. This is gonna deal 6 damage. You know why? Should know why. We have 2 raid bombardments, they will stack up. That means that whenever we attack his face, was it? Yeah, just whenever it attacks, it deals 1 damage to the face of the defending player. So this is 1, 2 damage, and then 2 for each, that is 2 plus 4, 6 damage. Nothing to sneeze at. Nice sip of coffee. This is an awesome card. It only costs 3 mana, so that's not a lot. And as an additional cost, you have to discard the card. So he just threw one of his lands into the graveyard, which is the pile where your discarded cards come, or your died minions, creatures I should say again. Here we go. Another mechanic is when you put a spell or a creature onto the battlefield, it has summoning sickness. That means that the first turn that it's alive, it can't do anything either. It might be able to block. I'm pretty sure it's able to block, but it's not able to attack or do its untap effects either way. What we're gonna do, we're gonna tap this guy. We're gonna make our 1/1 guy unstoppable, and we are going straight for the face. He is not blockable. That's another 3 damage. It's really starting to stack up. I know this card as well. Whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, put a +1/+1 counter on the card. So if we would, for example, block right here and a creature would dice, this would go up to a 2/2, which is something we don't want, so we will just take 7 damage to the face. He attacked with 2 creatures, which means that he cannot use them to block this turn, so we're gonna do some hefty damage with our 3 minions. And haste, so that is awesome, because that means another 2 damage because of raid bombardment. So now we will just... I don't think it even matters whatever we do, because if we just attack with everyone, the raid bombardment will just finish him off already. Stacking up enchantments is a pretty strong mechanic, you know? Because they all have quite beneficial effects, and if you have multiples of them, well, as you just saw, that can get real nasty for your opponent. 2 out of 4 done. I believe there's 4. I'm just gonna do all of them in the video. Might not be heavily edited, might be a bit long. Don't care, just having a blast. As you can see, we are cycling out these creatures. They are just 2 trees, and as I just told you, they don't have any special effects because you can see all the italic text, and that is just their card description. We are replacing them with 2 other cards. Ogre Battle Driver. This guy has haste, I think. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, that creatures get +2 and 0. Oh, alright. So this is really something that you want to play before playing all your goblins. The Goblin Gang Leader. When Goblin Gang Leader enters the battlefield, create 2... Oh, alright, so that just creates 2 tokens for 4 mana. Pretty strong, pretty great, awesome. Oh, there's 5 actually. The 5th one is playing against another player. Right now we are going up against the green deck, which is about... what should I say? It's about creating creatures that have something to do with nature. It's about creating giant dinosaurs sometimes, but the most defining feature of a green deck, in my opinion, I think, is playing creatures and other things like artifacts and enchantments that you can use to get extra mana. You know what I mean? So now he has a card that he can tap to gain 1 extra mana. So I guess the word that I'm looking for is ramp. That's what these guys really are all about. We are gonna play our card with haste. We are, however, not gonna attack because he will just block and I will lose my card with haste. And that's it for this turn. Plays another one of that and plays another one. And as you can see, he tapped this creature to play that. He only had 1 land remaining, but he could tap this creature in his turn to get 1 more mana. Now he has 3 of these. So while I still have 3 mana, he has 3 plus 3 right now if he wants to. So he can already play a 6 mana cost creature, which is something we do not want. So what we're gonna do is use 2 of our instant shock spells to deal 2 damage to a target and just remove the ones that are untapped. Because he only has 1 tapped creature remaining, that means that I can freely attack. And there we go, 2 damage to his face. And I stopped his ramp a bit in its tracks. Ramp is a term, if you don't know, that refers to really getting ahead of your opponent in terms of mana. In Hearthstone, the Druid class has a lot of ramp, which is kind of related to the green magic decks, I guess. At an empty mana crystal and stuff like that. So it's really just getting ahead of your opponent in land or in mana. He has a 4/4, so it's no use attacking with my 2/1. He will just block it. My 2/1 will die and his 4/4 will survive. If you use a creature to block and it survives, at the start of your next turn, your creature will just regenerate to full health. 1 more mana to play the Volcanic Dragon, which is flying and haste. We could play this and go for an all-out attack and hope that he blocks and it kind of will clear out the board a bit. But I think for now I'm just gonna be patient for 1 more turn. Flying is another interesting mechanic. I will explain that and then I will explain trample. And then maybe if I record the other color challenge as well, I will not explain the keywords anymore. Flying means that it can be blocked except by creatures with flying or reach. Reach being another keyword, meaning that that creature can reach flying creatures to block them, you know? Because normal land creatures, if I would play the Volcanic Dragon and attack, you would think, oh, he can use a 4/4 to block and that will both be dead. No, not the case, because my creature is flying. Trample, another keyword, that means that if I would block this creature with a 1/1, for example, 3 damage would still go on to my face. I think I am gonna block these 2. I could? Yeah, I think I want to do that. So, I wanna give creatures I control +2/+0, and then I want to sacrifice my 2 creatures because they are just random creatures. They don't have any effect for staying on the battlefield or something, so I do believe that to be a worth trade. We are definitely putting our Volcanic Dragon out there. He has no flying, he has no reach, so we can just freely deal 4 damage to his face. Awesome. Generous Stray, a nice little cat. Oh look, he killed a little lizard. When it enters the battlefield, draw a card. Pretty strong card draw. Always handy. Oaken form. So this is another enchantment, just like the something with rate. I don't exactly remember the entire word, but the card that we had on our bottom right here last game, this is one of those cards. It's another enchantment, but this one is not just randomly somewhere on the board. This is something that you assign to a minion, and it gets +3/+3. Not too bad. I think we are gonna use our shock to just get rid of the 4/2. It has only 2 health but 4 power, so that is definitely a worth trade in my opinion. I'm not attacking with the 1/1s for the same reason I explained earlier. He would just block, his creatures would survive, mine would die, and his creatures would regenerate. What I can do is assign 2 blockers to 1 creature. So now both of these guys are gonna block the cat, and the cat will die. These are just 1/1 tokens. The cat is not gonna die. Those are just 1/1 tokens, so Jesus. +5/+5 and has trample. I'm in some trouble, I think. I'm not gonna do anything right now. I'm not gonna attack because I think I want to be able to block. And if I would attack, my creature would be tapped and I would not be able to block, of course. So the 6/7 is something I can't do anything about. Something I can do is kill the 4/4 though, but I think we are in big trouble. Oh, it's +2/+0. I thought it was +2/+2. So as I said, these fights are scripted, so this gives us time to rethink our strategy a bit, because the card draw and stuff will be the same on both sides. But I wonder what I could do better. Maybe get rid of his ramp cards instantly, so that he can't ramp up quite so quickly. I'll try that. Just instantly get rid of it. And now next turn he only has 2 mana and he doesn't have 3, because maybe he did some crazy things with that. Sure, it can attack, because it has haste. So maybe we just instantly get rid of this one as well, before it can do anything. That means another 2 damage to the face for free, because he has no blockers left. And I think this time we are just gonna all attack and hope that he blocks one of the 2 attack creatures with his 4/4. Yes, he is. So now we can use this, which means that we deal a bunch of damage to his face and we immediately kill the 4/4. He's already at 4 health now. I think our strategy this time around was a bit better, because now once we play this card, it's just over, right? Alright, so what happened last time was we played way too patiently for being a mono red deck, you know? As I said, it's just goblins. It's not too many fancy mechanics, so I shouldn't pretend to have fancy mechanics up my sleeve, and I should just play creatures and go to the face. There we go, another upgrade again. 2 random cards out of there. Immortal Phoenix, flying. When Immortal Phoenix dies, return it to its owner hand. So if it dies, I just can play it again the next turn. Molten Ravager, great card art. Molten Ravager gets... So I can play 1 red mana to give it +1/+0 until the end of turn. So I can make it into a 1/4. Not the most game-changing card, but it can help us out. Now we are going to face up against a white deck, which is all about adding health to your hero and then reaping beneficial effects from that effect. This guy is the favorite Planeswalker, or well, this kind of white deck is the favorite deck of my buddy Goblin, who you've seen a lot on this channel already in our GTA 5 playthrough together, for example. Or in our one-off video of Tabletop Simulator where he banged his head on the table, still a really funny moment. I think we want to get a blocker on here first so that his damage doesn't stack up. And then next turn we can play Raid Bombardment if you want to. Alright, now it makes sense. I was like, why can creatures with 0 attack either way? But they can do so for things like Raid Bombardment. This thing has 0 attack, it can still attack though, and that will trigger Raid Bombardment, so that's why that mechanic is here. This cat has Vigilance. Vigilance means basically that it doesn't get tired, so it can attack and it doesn't get untapped. It doesn't get tapped, I'm sorry. We are gonna be playing the Raid Bombardment and hoping to play the other one the next turn immediately, because now we can attack with our 0/4. And it does 1 damage. Even though we will not do any damage with our creature itself, the bombardment effect of the enchantment just helps out. And I could have paid 1 mana to make it a bit stronger. Especially because I don't have anything else to do with 1 mana, so that would have been a better play. We're gonna play another Raid Bombardment. We're gonna play the Goblin Tunneler. No, I think we're gonna stay safe and block. For example, if he buffs this card, I want to block it, because it has Double Strike, which basically means that it does 2 attacks. Double Strike also means that it does the first attack, so blocking with this creature won't have any use, because this creature will just get killed and his creature will survive. There we go. Am I gonna attack with 1? Yes, I am gonna attack with 1. There we go. I'm not gonna give it his +1/+0. Oh, he's not gonna block it. Well, then I'm gonna activate the ability. 1 damage extra to his face, end my turn. I am definitely gonna block, gonna activate this guy's ability. And then to blockers, block his character. And there we go, now it's dead. You saw? That was the first strike damage, so that's the really strong part about double strike. It's also first strike. And then we can play our Siege Dragon that removes all walls, even though he has none, but we still have a 5/5 body on the board right now, which is gonna be quite handy for us indeed. We are gonna attack with both of them because we don't mind taking 1 damage next turn. It's just too good with the raid bombardment to pass up. We're gonna go next. We're gonna go next. And we're gonna go end turn. Now we have a 5/5 to block one of his 1/4s. Spiritual Guardian. When it enters the battlefield, he gains 4 life. Alright. So that's what I said, he just gains life. That's the main mechanic in the white text most of the time. This guy does not have vigilance or anything, so I'm not gonna attack with him because I want to use him to block, obviously. We are gonna attack with both of our 0/4s. Just to get the bombardment to trigger. He has 1 card though, could be scary. Oh, alright, that's a problem. That's a big problem. This is an enchantment, Pacifism. Enchanted creature can't attack or block, so it's basically just like completely puts him out of the game. And that is of course an enchantment that you want to put on an enemy minion, which is something you can do. That's gonna put us in some trouble probably. I think I am gonna use my 1/1. Oh no, I do not want to do that. I am gonna use my 1/1 to block that 3 damage because I just don't want to take 3 more damage to the face. We need a strong card. Not necessarily what I was looking for. Alright, and now we are just completely fucked. I feel like I just had to activate my ability way earlier on these guys to kill his double strike guy, because I only figured that out quite late that that was a good turn of actions. I'll just move along a bit and we'll see how it goes this time. I think we've won this time. Even though we're gonna take a lot of damage right now, I think if next turn I just attack with all 3 of my creatures that can still attack, I should win, right? Because of the raid bombardment, and I also have the shock, so I can just use it on the planeswalker. And next, and I'll attack, and there we go. Alright, so we were really on the right track for a long while on our last attempt, but we messed up a bit in the end. Final upgrade, Goblin Trashmaster. Other goblins you control get +1/+1. Sacrifice a goblin to destroy an artifact. Inescapable Blaze. Can be countered. 6 damage to any target. Okay, another Volcanic Dragon. That was the final upgrade. Now we're gonna be playing against another player. Diadris with a white planeswalker, but that does not necessarily reflect the color of his deck. I am gonna mulligan because I don't want 2 land. I can't mulligan again. I feel like I always get 2 land. I have to mulligan one more time. Alright, well, I guess 2 land it is then. I don't think Goblin Gathering is really gonna make the difference for us right now, so we're gonna put both of those back into our library, and we're gonna play a mountain. So now we're just desperately needing to draw more land, or otherwise we are completely screwed. That helps us out a lot. Let's get the haste guy out there so that we can just inflict 2 damage already. He is playing a black deck. Could be mono black, could still be some other land colors that are coming out. We don't know yet for sure. The great thing about the Swift Color Challenge is that you don't need to win to get the reward. Actually, you don't have to. You just have to use the deck against an opponent. We saw this card already earlier. I think we are just gonna play our other Nest Robber, attack with both of them. If he blocks one of them, I don't really mind because I don't want his Malakir Kullblade to get stronger. 3 mana on both sides of the board. He didn't mulligan as many cards, it seems like. Problem is that I don't have any mana left, so I'm in pretty much a lot of trouble. He didn't attack, which is interesting. I'm gonna play my Goblin Tunneler because it's all I can do, and I am just gonna attack. He's of course not gonna block, but I did put him down to 12 health already, which is something I like. But he has come to the point where he has probably got 4 mana now, and a lot of strong cards are gonna be coming out, I presume. Skeleton Archer can deal 1 damage to any target. And now he has a 3/3, which he's probably gonna use to attack because he knows that I can't block it. Or that I can block it without randomly using my own creature. Well, alright, we needed that. We desperately needed that. There we go. Now our Goblin is gonna be 2/2, which is already a bit better. And we're just gonna end turn. He doesn't have any artifact, so we can't use the Sacrifice the Goblin ability, but that's fine. Looks like he's also playing quite a basic deck, so Vampire Opportunist. Each opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. Nothing too crazy. If he attacks, I might use our Goblin Trashmaster to block his 3-3 that could get stronger. He does of course only use the other 3-3. I think I'm just gonna let that damage go through. 3 damage is not the end of the world. That's not the best draw, of course. I am gonna attack with my 3-3 because if he wants to block it, that's fine. He loses his creature. If he wants to block using this, that's also fine because he also loses that. That's why I'm not gonna pop this ability, because I actually want him to block something. I want him to lose some of his board presence, but he's probably not. He is gonna block. Does he have an instant spell maybe? Probably they put a -1/-1 counter on an enemy. It's +2/+0 and indestructible until the end of turn. I wonder if I do this now. Oh no, because it doesn't even have 2 power or less. Alright, so there goes my creature, I guess. I should have seen that coming because he kept 2 mana open, and when somebody keeps 2 land untapped, you can definitely know that they have something counterspell like up their sleeve. Looks like we're in big trouble, especially if we don't start drawing land pretty quickly, because otherwise these siege dragons are not gonna come out. The Soul Hunter Rakshasa can't block. When it enters the battlefield, if you cast it from your hand, it deals 1 damage to target opponent for each swamp you control. Alright, so that's just 5 damage straight to my face. That's cool, that's fine. Yeah. I would want to block, but that would only make him stronger, but it doesn't matter, I lost. Getting a mulligan hand with 2 land in it is not the best course of action for a Magic game, so the only thing you can do in that case is take away his honor of killing you, you know? Either way though, that did give us the last award normally, the last reward I should say. Even though we lost drastically, we really did lose. But there we go. That's it. That's the Red Color challenge completed. And we probably unlocked this Goblins Everywhere deck too to play just online. That was a lot of fun. Now you know how Magic works a bit already, and we still have the green color challenge to go. I might see you for that in the next video. Was a blast recording again. Might just go ahead and edit this one right now and just put it up straight away, because it has been like 3 weeks since the video has gone up on my channel. Hope you enjoyed this with me. Different game than what we usually play, but I had a blast, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.